Hey, BassGeek here, and the fall transition is upon us, and I'm going to show you one way to catch them that can be split into two. So how do you know you're in the fall transition? Well, there's a lot of different ways to tell, especially if you're on the lake a lot and you keep up with the fish. The topwater bite starts to go off the hinges. But if you want to talk about water temp, I don't pick a specific water temp. More so, I begin to pay attention to how cold the nights are getting. When there is a consistent, say, 8 to 10 degree nighttime temp drop, and we start to see the water temps go down from what they are in their summer average, you can bet those bass are tying the feed bag on. All right, geeks, so there's a lot of different ways you can take advantage of the fall transition. You can go shallow and beat the banks. The bass will eventually come up, but now remember that doesn't happen all at one time. One of my favorite ways to do it is topwater, and especially first thing in the morning. When those mornings are cooler and those water temps are cooler because they've cooled all night long, they're going to be at the coolest they will be first thing in the morning. And that topwater bite can be on fire the first part of the day. And you geeks know I love topwater. That's my favorite thing to do in the fall transition. Heck, it's my favorite thing to do any time of year. But I'm going to talk to you today about a bait that can be split up and fished as two different components. One is more of a power fishing technique. The other, a little more subtle, especially when you're fishing for finicky or clear water bass. And I'm going to give you a chance to try these two baits in one for free if you stick to the end of the video. Now, let's talk about what it is. All right, so let me tell you about the BassGeek Baitworks box. This is how I'm going to give you a chance to use that 2-in-1 bait at the end of the channel. We're going to be giving this away to one of you lucky geeks. Now, let me show you what I handpicked from Baitworks for your fall transition. First off, you can't go wrong anytime with a Ned rig, especially once those bass begin to pull up in the shallows on the bank. A good one right here is the Omega Slayer Ned head. What's great about this little Ned head, it's got a nice little spring lock. It's almost like a football head, and it's got a weed guard. And you know old BassGeek's going to give you something to go on that. So we picked out the X-Zone Lures 3-inch Ned Zone and good old green pumpkin black flake. One of the things I love about this bait is that bulbous tail, man. It's really got some great action when you're dragging it. One of my very favorite Finesse underspins because you can reel it fast and it doesn't blow out side to side. And that's going to be the Pulse Fish Lures underspin. And as always, geeks, you know I'm going to pair up something nice with it. One of my favorite little Finesse swim baits. I've really been picking these up and using them a lot, especially today while we've been out here. And that is the 2.7-inch X-Zone Swammer. And the color is 309. And if you're chasing those bass that are chasing around balls of shad, one of the best things you can pick up, especially if there's a little bit of chop on the water, or if it's early morning, and that's a spy bait. Now, I'm gonna get you geeks to try out a little different one, something that I've played with off and on in the past. And this one's from Spro, a company that I like a lot. And this is the Spin John 80. Now, this is part one of the 2-bait system that I'm going to show you. This is the Omega Alpha Buzz. Now, I'm not going to take yours out of the pack. I did get you one because some guys prefer it with a skirt on there. Me, I prefer it without. Just me. Really doesn't matter. It's just what your confidence in. But there's something great about this buzz bait that I want to share with you. And that's the double blade right here. Now, what I love about this double blade is that you would think it makes it a lot louder. It really doesn't. It's actually got a really unique sound, and what else, it really throws a lot of bubbles. You can also run it a lot slower. I love the drop in the arm and the flat head. One of the other great components on this buzzbait is the cone on the front. Some people put a bead. What's great about that is it's going to keep weeds and grass off of it a lot better. Now don't worry geeks, this is mine. You can tell I've used it quite a bit. Now, I am gonna have to use one of your toads to show you this. But I did pick you up to go along with it from Big Bite Baits, a tour toad pearl shine. It's a 4-inch toad from Big Bite Baits. So sorry, I'm gonna have to use one of yours, but I will put you another toad back in the bag. Just for demonstration purposes. And I will put you a BassGeek sticker in the box also. I just don't have one in the boat with me right now. So this is the power fishing setup that I was talking about. You can use this, you know, as a double whammy. So the first thing I always do is kind of size it up. I know it's going to come out right about there. So then I'm going to go straight through the middle. I'm going to try and stay dead center with this because you can see the keel of the bait. I'm going to come all the way back and come right out the dead center. And then we're just going to make it fat, push it up on there. You can always add just a little bit of glue, but there you are. A perfect little buzz toad. Now, first thing in the morning, around shady areas like this, going to throw this around grass, around wood, even when the sun's out. Believe it or not, around busting bass. Sometimes this will get you a bite when walking baits, poppers, or whatever traditionally you use will not, because not a lot of people are throwing this. But let's say the sun comes up and your buzzbait bite goes away. What do? Well, the good news, you've got a 2-for-1 right here. So I'm using a Gamakatsu Superline spring hook, and the spring just makes it easier to rig. Great thing about these big bites, you can go straight in through the nose, and you're just gonna screw that up on there. Now I go all the way to the hook. I'll leave just enough so you've got the little circular part. And then what you do is you come all the way back, come straight through the middle, and then I'll just pull up and skin hook that toad. And there you have it. You can tie it on and fish this. It's a little more subtle. It's a little more natural once the sun comes up, if you want to keep that topwater bite going for just a little bit longer. So I'm just going to tie my pitsine knot on this, and I'm going to try and show you. You don't have to use as much line as I normally do, but you can come up, just get a little bit, and then you can just flip it about 4 or 5 times. Now you can do it by hand too, but I just come through that top loop. I know you probably couldn't see that, but then we just pull it down. Of course, you moisten, pull that down, tighten your tag, cut your tag, and now you're ready to go fish this way. But first, geeks, I want to tell you about Boat Effects. Listen, they do everything from graph locks to graph straps that keep your covers on there. And as you guys have seen, you've seen my steps on both the Triton and the Camus. They're the best steps on the market. I didn't want my Camus coming with the steps. I didn't like them. So I made sure that I got Boat Effects steps to go on my boat. It's a big safety deal, especially as we're coming into the wintertime. If you don't have them, get them. If you want to try them and you're local to me, give me a holler. I'll let you test them out. I mean, if my I was 350 pounds last year walking up and down mine. They ain't budged, and I ain't never had to tighten them. Be safe, geeks. Now, we're gonna talk about fishing the toad all by itself. The great thing about the toad is it skips pretty easy, a little bit easier than the buzzbait. It is weedless. You're not gonna get snagged up as much. You know, the buzzbait is still pretty weedless. I'll throw that in the middle of about anything. But the toad is even more weedless. It's also more subtle. It's more natural. Now this is a white. If you're around shad, like I said, I would use that. But one of my favorite things to do is get that alpha buzz in a gold blade and put a green pumpkin or a watermelon red, put a little bit of chartreuse on it somewhere for a target. Man, it looks like a bluegill if you got bluegill. Incredible bait to mimic those bluegill. Like I said, you can skip this under trees. You can make a cast sidearm overhead, doesn't matter, just however you like to do it. But get it up there. I like to parallel the bank unless I'm on a big flat area, say a big grass flat or something like that. I like to parallel the bank. I also like to stay back and run it down some trees. You're gonna reel it nice and slow. It comes up, it floats. It's pretty easy to use. So the biggest thing about this when it comes to a hook set, you just wanna kind of straight up hook set, reel that thing down, keep reeling, don't stop, don't pump, get it in the boat. Now you can boat hop it or you can thumb it, it doesn't matter either way, but get it in the boat. All right, geeks, so you know TFO is the rod that I prefer. This is a Taction Bass 7.5 medium heavy plus fast action. And it's really the rod that I use for both. I can throw just the toad super easy on this. And of course, I'm gonna throw just whatever mono you prefer. You can do, you know, a braid with a mono leader. I would definitely suggest that. And this is an old to like 8-1-1. I like a high speed for my buzz baits and my toads. For me, I do throw right around 14-pound test on the mono. All right, geeks, with a buzz bait or a toad, angle is everything. So I like to make sure that I'm paralleling the bank most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll kind of kick out so that I can really bring it down, say a blow down or a brush pile. 2-3 casts over some stuff like that to call bass up a lot of times also. Always make you 2-3 casts, and 2-3 casts from different angles too. Like I always say when it comes to a buzz bait, make sure, to me, you've got a longer rod. A 7-foot will be just fine for you, but make sure you stop it with your thumb in the air right before it hits, and then raise the rod tip so that when it hits the water, it is up and it is going. Starting a buzz bait immediately, not letting it dip under the water, I think is one of the biggest keys to getting bites on a buzz bait. But the good thing is, don't be afraid to throw this over some cover. Buzz baits come over and across things very well. You'll get better with that the longer you use it. The retrieve, don't overpower it. Nice and slow, keeping it on the water surface. When you get that hit, give it just a second. Wait till you feel the load. Set the hook. Make sure you reel down. Boat hop them in there if your net man ain't ready. Don't play them too long. They will throw these things, because that's a lot of stuff to swing around. Get them in the boat. So make sure you go and you try out, even if you don't win, I'm going to give you an opportunity to win. Make sure you go try a buzz toad, a buzz bait, or a toad, either one. They can prolong that topwater bite during the fall transition if you use them correctly. So how do you get the chance to win this box? All you have to do is put the hashtag AlphaBuzz in the comment section below and you'll be entered to win. 1 week from the time this video comes out, we'll draw a winner. We'll leave a comment on your comment letting you know that you won, but we would appreciate it if you'd keep up by watching. Now, if you want to learn more really in depth on how to tune several different types of buzz baits, including this one, how to fish them, where to fish them, when to fish them, be sure you go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell so you get those notifications. 100% Watch Squad. You geeks are awesome. And as always, you geeks rock.